You know who it is. You know who it is. It's the tried and fucking true, our best friend, the feathered friend. 100 extinct animals that are still alive. There's 100 of them. There's a fucking 100 of them. So there may be some here that I unfortunately don't know much about, but I will be able to tell you for a fact that they're not still alive because extinct and still alive do very poorly together. Unless you mean extinct in the wild, in which case, like, yeah, that tracks. That's how that works. So let's get into this, shall we?
Hey, welcome
Hey!
to new. But sometimes they are rediscovered in remote areas. Are you new to this channel? Make sure.
Like, sometimes, like barely ever. Like, everyone likes to point to the coelacanths. Can you name another incident? Because I can name, like, one, and that's because people were actively looking for it, and that's because it was a species that they knew was, like, relatively recent. But yeah, I know that the Pondicherry shark was recently, rediscovered. But again, that's not like a centuries or millennia old species. That is like that's a species that we knew was around, and it's just like its numbers declined, and there haven't been sightings for a while. It's a very difficult shark to diagnose. They look very similar to blacktip reef sharks, so it's understandable that like if there have been sightings, they wouldn't be reported. Tasmanian tigers have. Eh, there have been sightings. I think that some analysis shows that like Tasmanian tigers were still running around for like maybe a few decades after the last captive specimen went died out. But like we'll have plenty of time to talk about Tasmanian tigers because there's 100 fucking animals he's gonna talk about them.
To subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
Yeah.
The Arakan forest turtle was thought to have been extinct for more than 86 years, but in 1994, the reptile was found in an Asian food market. Scientists have never seen.
Okay, I don't know about this species actually. But let's look it up. Maybe this is actually true. I'm not actually seeing anything about it being rediscovered, like they thought it was extinct. It just seems to be critically endangered. So yeah, I don't know if that's accurate. I don't. Listen, I was expecting dinosaurs and shit.
Seen this turtle in the wild since, and it seems that someone was breeding them for the illegal wildlife trade. The last time the black leopard was officially sighted in the wild.
Okay, a black leopard is just a leopard with melanism. We have a black leopard at the San Diego Zoo. That's not an extinct animal. A black panther, for anyone who's wondering, is any species like any animal in the genus Panthera that has melanism, which is to say it has like an overabundance of melanin, which gives it this sort of black condition, right? So most of the black panthers that you'll see are leopards or jaguars. If you see a totally black cat and it's in Africa or Asia, it's a leopard. And if you see it in South America, it's a jaguar. So yeah, black leopards or black panthers, they're not a distinct species, right? They're just a leopard or a jaguar or even a lion or tiger that has melanism. It would be like calling just it would be like calling an albino animal a different species, right? It's basically the same thing, just like instead of a melanin deficiency, it's a melanin abundance. So no, black leopards are not extinct animals. Leopards they do all right.
Takahe was considered extinct for about 50 years, but Jeffrey Orble and his team rediscovered the bird's wild population in 1948. Now these birds.
See, I don't know if he's talking about extinct or extinct in the wild. So this is a New Zealand bird. Oh, so there's a South Island and a North Island, and the North Island one is extinct. Okay, so the AI got confused, because of course it did. Um, the South Island Takahe seems to be endangered, but like not even extinct in the wild. The North Island one just seems to be the extinct one. So you are wrong. You're wrong. That's all there is to it.
Birds live in the Miller's grizzled langur is one of the rarest and least known primates in Borneo, and scientists thought the
Borneo.
species was extinct. However, it was confirmed that they exist and live in an area previously undiscovered by humans.
Previously undiscovered by
For the past
humans.
23 years, the short-snouted sea snake was believed to be extinct because it was
There's nothing you can really say except like, oh, we thought this was extinct, but then it was found. Because like there's 100 of them. There's a fucking 100. So all I can do is just like fact check, because like most of these seem to be like fairly obscure species or even subspecies that I haven't really heard of. Thought to be two distinct populations. The Ashmore Reef population, which is potentially extirpated since 1998, although a possible observation was made in 2021, and the coastal population from the coast of Western Australia, including Ningaloo Reef. Australians and their funny names for everything. Documented from 2015 onwards, and potentially the only extant population of the species, which has distinct morphological and ecological differences from the oceanic population. Okay, so this one seems to be very, very complicated because there's two distinct populations that can't be determined if they are different species or not. One of them might have been extirpated, which is to say it's extinct, but there's so little data on this species that it's hard to tell. So, again, that's less of an extinct species that's still alive, or even an extinct species that was rediscovered. It's more like just one subspecies, or even potentially species of this might be extinct. We don't know. Probably because there's not a whole hell of a lot of genetic data to go on these things. Yeah, genetic testing is required. So, also that's a turtle.
Nowhere, but recently, this extinct species was found in deep water, in a zone called the Twilight Zone, because it's below the ocean's surface.
Okay, that's not what Wikipedia said at all.
Palma's giant lizard was thought to be extinct about 2,000 years ago, when humans inhabited the island of La Palma. But recently, some photos of the giant lizard were taken, so we can assume they still exist.
Photos were taken so we can assume it still exists. Yeah, sure, why the fuck not? Okay, time to fucking... It was last spotted in 2007, so... And some authors consider the sites doubtful, so... Probably extinct, to be perfectly honest, which is a shame. But... I have no fucking idea. He was saying that it went extinct 2,000 years ago, but this is saying the decline may have started 2,000 years ago with the arrival of humans, even then, there's no citation. So, fuck it. It could still be alive, but unlikely.
Honshu wolves are called Japanese ghost wolves. They were thought to have been extinct for 100 years, but locals believe the wolves still live in the mountains. A photo was even taken
Okay, I've heard of
believed
this.
to be a Honshu wolf.
I have heard of that, actually. I think that's... I think I'll give the AI that one. Like, that is, as far as I'm aware, it's kind of like the Japanese version, rather, of the Tasmanian tiger. Where it's like, yeah, people still believe that these guys are still out there, and sightings are relatively frequent, but because this is an animal that is so easily confused with something like a dog, or hell, even in Japan's case, something like a raccoon dog, perhaps, I can totally buy that, like, sightings are not only common, but that they're also a case of mistaken identity. So, debatable. Jury's still out. I'll give the AI that one.
This creature was thought to have been extinct for more than 70 years, but Dr. Peter Zahler rediscovered the western woolly flying squirrel in 1994. The animal was captured on camera in the northeastern part of Jigme Dorji National Park in Bhutan.
Yeah, he gave a fucking name for the researcher and everything, and like where it was found. Sure, like I'll look it up. The fucking like woolly flying squirrel or whatever. No, here we go. Thought to be extinct for 70 years until being rediscovered in 1994 by Dr. Peter Zahler Oh, the Wildlife Conservation Society. Okay. So yeah, he was right. I don't know if this is Dr. Peter Zoller, but maybe it is. I have no idea.
The Mosasaurus was an ocean monster thought to have gone extinct 65
No!
million years ago.
No! Come on. Don't. God damn it, no! You had a good one! You actually had a good one, and then you followed it up with a fucking Mosasaurus! No! This is from the Dino Tracker! This is from the fucking promotional material for Jurassic World Dominion! If they actually cite this as being proof that mosasaurs are still alive today, I'm going to shit my pants.
Ago. Now, a video was recently released claiming that the giant sea creature still exists. However, many people are skeptical about the video footage. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Oh my god, he's actually fucking saying that the Jurassic World Dominion Dino Tracker Mosasaur is actual proof of a living mosasaur. No fucking way. That is unbelievable. I'm gonna shit myself right now. Jesus Christ, this is so trash.
Look at these wild cats. They were thought to be gone from
Okay,
our planet.
that's a civet? I'm like 99% sure that's a civet. Not a clouded leopard. Also, I don't believe that at any point clouded leopards in general were considered to be extinct. I'm pretty sure that there is a population of clouded leopards that were isolated on an island. There's like a subspecies of them that is considered extinct, but clouded leopards in general, no, they are not extinct. I think there might have been plans to reintroduce like mainland clouded leopards onto the island. I'll have to look that up. Hold on. Ah, the Formosan clouded leopard. That's the one. Yeah, that one's extinct. So that one is extinct, but clouded leopards in general, yeah, not really. They're vulnerable, which is not great, but they could be doing a lot worse. And again, that is a civet.
For the past century, the dwarf deer has not been seen anywhere. However, some scientists rediscovered them again when the deer was first found in Vietnam. After an intensive search in the jungles, the researchers got the chance to spot them on camera. The Pondicherry shark was thought to be extinct, but in recent years, there were several reports from fishermen in the Indian Ocean that they had seen a shark that resembled the Pondicherry shark. Not long after, a researcher named Forrest Galante had caught it in the sea to prove it still existed.
Okay, I saw the documentary on that. I don't think that Forrest actually caught the shark. I think that he talked to local fishermen who had caught the shark, and then sent a DNA sample back to like a genetics lab, and they confirmed that yes, this is a Pondicherry shark. My understanding is that Forrest Galante is a controversial figure, as demonstrated by Rosie in chat saying no, that guy fucking sucks. But in that instance, I think he did a good thing. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he was able to at least, you know, help confirm that, you know, the Pondicherry shark is still alive means that like there can be further protections put in place for that species. Not that I'm not sure, like not that I'm sure they'll help very much, because, you know, China exists. You know how it is. Gotta put tasteless fins in the soup, otherwise our dicks don't get hard or whatever shit.
The Wondiwoi kangaroo is a rare kangaroo thought to have vanished 90 years ago.
This is a type of tree kangaroo, obviously. I have not heard of this particular species. Why did I do that again? I think culturally shark fin soup was seen as a it was seen as like a status symbol, right? Like in the old days of China. And now that it's become more commercially available, it's like it kind of still has that status symbol. Now it's just like, you know, basically anyone can get it because they, I mean, not anyone, because like the shark fins are obviously still really fucking expensive. Yeah, it's like caviar but without any taste. It's like it's fancy food. Like, ooh, this is pinky out. Ooh. Don't forget the virgin boy egg or the shit wine in Korea. Or we saw the civet earlier in this video. The civet coffee, the civet poop coffee. people in Southeast Asia will keep civets in cages and shit until just like, and shit, and they poo. Poo! They take the poo and they turn it into coffee. Yep, that is indeed the tree kangaroo. Critically endangered. Okay, so it's not... it is not the species that is pictured here, which I didn't think so, because I'm pretty sure I saw that species at the safari park. My nose is so itchy, I'm so sorry. Until 2018, the Wondiwoi tree kangaroo was known from only a single specimen collected in 1928. Damn. Okay, so yeah, New Guinea. No fucking wonder. New Guinea is a very difficult place to just enter and traverse and look for stuff. So I totally believe that, like, if there are any lost species out there, they're probably going to be around, like, New Guinea, Papua New Guinea.
The New Guinea wild song dog, known for its unusual singing sound, is thought to have disappeared for more than 50 years. Researchers thought the species was extinct in 1970, but it's recently been confirmed that this wild dog has been seen in New Guinea.
How recently? What? I know I've heard of these animals. Yeah, the New Guinea singing dog. Wait, no, this is just a breed of dog. Okay, I thought so, because, like, this isn't like a wild animal. This is a breed of dog, I think. I knew I'd heard of it before. That's because, like, it's because it's just a breed of dog. Yeah, like, dog breeds can go extinct. I'm not disagreeing with you there, but it is just a dog. So,
The Rio Apaporis caiman had been considered extinct since the 1980s, but researchers investigated a tributary of the Amazon. There, they managed to capture video footage of the animal and realized that the reptile was still alive.
Again, lots of very obscure, like, species and subspecies. Like, I had never heard of this caiman.
Dwarf tarsier is probably one of the smallest primates on Earth.
I have no fucking clue if these guys have ever been considered extinct. It's just me fact-checking constantly. Like, I have to go back to Wikipedia. Fucking look up dwarf tarsier. Yeah, and the Mosasaurus being snuck in with all these normal-ass species is such a fucking joke. Okay, there's the pygmy tarsier. That one's endangered. There we go. Thought to have become extinct in the early 20th century. Then in 2000, Indonesian scientists accidentally killed one while trapping rats. Good job. Okay, so yes, the pygmy tarsier was thought to have been extinct, but it is still around. You got the name wrong, but I'll give you that one.
And he looks a lot like Baby Yoda. For 80...
That's what I got for pausing at the wrong time. Excuse me?
Tarsier is probably one of the smallest primates on Earth, and he looks a lot like Baby Yoda. For 80 years, it was thought that this animal no longer existed. But recently, Gerxie Doyen became the first person to meet the dwarf tarsier in the flesh. So this species had been rediscovered again.
He was the first person to meet Baby Yoda in the flesh. Oh my goodness. This was last year. Hadn't everyone already fallen out of love with The Mandalorian by then? Didn't season 3 happen and everyone was just like, oh god, that was not good?
This revelation was very unexpected, as the Zanzibar leopard was accidentally rediscovered during the filming of the television show Extinct or Alive.
Zanzibar leopard? I'm guessing that's another subspecies. Oh, yeah, leopard population in Zanzibar. Tanzanian archipelago. So this is like an island chain then. Oh, fake footage, controversial? Ooh. I hadn't heard about this. Yeah, I didn't know about this controversy, so I'll take your guys' word for it over the fucking AI.
This reptile got its name because of its long curved teeth. The species was
the
first
terror
discovered in
skink?
1872.
He kind of looks like Zuko. Terror skink? Yep, that is real. Critically endangered, New Caledonia. First described in 1876, the species was presumed extinct, but was rediscovered in 1993. Since then, several individuals have been seen. Well, alright then. Woo!
The Santa Marta toro was believed to
Look
have
at this
disappeared from this
little
planet for more
goober.
than 100 years, but scientists were wrong because this little rodent is just very good at hiding in the jungles. It wasn't until 2011 that they were rediscovered again in California.
How is this little guy good at hiding? He shouldn't be. Look how cute he is. Oh my goodness. Okay, the red-crested tree rat. Colombia? Yeah, this was not rediscovered in California by the looks of things. Maybe by some scientists from California, but it looks like this guy lives in Colombia, so you're wrong about that.
In California.
Yeah, you're wrong.
How easy is it to lose sight of a whale?
Okay, the Omura whale is... Okay, I know for a fact that this is a... It's more of a recently described species. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure it's Omura's whale, actually. It's either most closely related to the fin whale or the blue whale. I'm pretty sure it's the fin whale. And like for a while it was just kind of seen as like non-diagnostic or there wasn't any diagnostic traits. It's just like, yeah, this is a fin whale, until they did like DNA analysis and it's just like, okay, this is its own species of whale. So it's not like, oh, we thought Omura's whale was extinct for a while, but then we rediscovered it. It's more like they just didn't think that this was its own species until DNA analysis was done. I think this is like one of the most, if not the most recently described species of whales. There might be like a weird-ass beaked whale that takes that role, because beaked whales just do not want to be fucking found, especially alive.
In 2015, however, researchers published the first video footage of this rediscovered species.
Recently described species, you're just wrong about that.
Chacoan peccaries are ungulates, and were recently rediscovered, among...
Not really. Okay, I know about these guys. So, the thing is, it's not that they thought that Chacoan peccaries were a thing, and then they were, like, not like a lot of the other things we've seen in this video. It's more like... What happened was, I think fossil evidence of peccaries was discovered throughout South America. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. These are like, I want to say these are suiforms that used to live down here. And then eventually, it turns out living peccaries were discovered. So they're more like a coelacanth sort of situation than anything like what we've seen for most of this video. People who debate whether or not different regions of orcas are their own species. Yes, that is true. I want to say like the type D orcas with like the super small eye patches and I want to say really straight dorsal fins. Those guys are like top candidates for, these guys are probably their own species, but they're also, as far as I'm aware, the rarest type of orca, and so getting DNA off of them is something of a challenge. I think there was actually a DNA test done on them semi-recently. They have been given names, but I don't know if they've been accepted throughout, like... Yeah, okay, a 2019 study of type D orcas also found them to be distinct from other populations and possibly even a unique species. Knowing this video, we will probably see type D orcas.
Other animals. These large animals were not identified until 1975, and it was thought that they did not exist. But as we can see in these photos, they do still exist.
Yeah, we actually have Chacoan peccaries at the San Diego Zoo. They're very funny looking guys. They look like the porcupine from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
The fishing cat from Asia was nowhere to be found since 2003.
We also have these at the San Diego Zoo. Yeah, I don't know if this has ever been considered extinct or not. I know it's like fairly endangered. It's very cute.
Camera traps placed in the forest finally caught the kittens, and researchers were very happy to see them again.
Again, we've had these at the San Diego Zoo for a long time now. I'm going to assume that once again, this is some like super isolated population or something, or a subspecies or something, because we have had these at the San Diego Zoo for a long ass time. So, unless we thought they were extinct in like the 70s and now they're cool. Like Like, we thought they were extinct in the 70s, but in the 2000s, and it's like, oh yeah, of course we got fish and cats. Then it's like, fuck off. Woo!
The Cuban solenodon is a shrew-like venomous mammal that disappeared from Cuba for a decade and was nowhere to be found. In the early 1970s, it was thought that the species...
I'll look it up. So many animals I just don't know about. So this does seem to be correct. I think. Once considered extinct. I don't know if it says when. Oh, prior to 2003, the most recent sighting was in 1999. Well, that's really not that bad. That's only a gap of like 4 years. So, yeah. That's really not that bad, honestly. Consider we haven't seen a Chinese river dolphin in almost 20 years. I think longer than that, actually. Woo!
For a long time, no one had seen the Fernandina turtle. This species of turtle used to live in the Galapagos Islands for more than 100 years.
One of you guys brought this up in chat earlier.
Recently, Forrest Galante was able to prove that this animal still exists. Incredible, isn't it?
Incredible, isn't it?
The last time the Tasmanian tiger was thought to exist...
Yep. We got the Tasmanian tiger, alright. We knew we would. We're definitely going to get Megalodon on this list. Like, absolutely, we're going to get Megalodon. So, a part of me really hopes that the Tasmanian tiger is still out there, but it's almost certainly gone, especially from Tasmania and, like, mainland Australia. If there's any fucking place that there's gonna be Tasmanian tigers, I'm gonna guess that it's probably Papua New Guinea. Like, maybe. It's like a slim chance, but I give it more of a chance than on Tasmania or mainland Australia. I'll hold out hope for the rest of my life that I will be able to see a Tasmanian tiger, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But, like, you're gonna have a hard time finding anyone happier than me if it does happen.
It was in 1936 at a Hobart Zoo. Since then, it was believed that this animal was extinct, but recently, a few photos and videos of this animal were uploaded by Neil Waters, who claimed that the Tasmanian tiger was still alive.
Yeah, like, all this footage is super debatable. Like, it's taken from super far away, it's very choppy. Like, there are some videos posted of, like, you know, Tasmanian tiger looking animals that have, like, kind of a weird gait, because that would be kind of the distinguishing factor. It's just like they look weird. They look kind of like dogs or wolves or something, but they're just weird. Ancient ants in southern Australia, which give a town ant-based tourism. That's where they should have shot the new Ant-Man movie. That's what they should have done instead of Quantumania. How exactly did they go extinct? I want to say hunting and habitat loss. People hunted them for their pelts, probably killed them because they were, like, attacking livestock. Quantumania versus Tasmania. Dude. Oh, man.
The first and last photograph of the Saki monkey was taken in 1936.
I know that guy.
In the Iru River in the Amazons.
I've seen that monkey before.
Since then, no one's seen the monkey, but in February 2017,
no one
the
has seen the
species was
monkey.
rediscovered in a tall tree near the Iru River during an Amazon expedition.
The monkey.
The Megalodon is believed to have
Fucking
gone
knew it.
extinct 3.5 million years ago. However, some people believe that it's still swimming around in our oceans. For example,
They're wrong. Those people are wrong and stupid and dumb. If you believe that the Megalodon is still out there, you don't know anything about the Megalodon. Let's go over this, shall we? A recent paper has concluded that Megalodon may have grown up to, like, maybe 70 feet long. This was a monstrous animal. This was enormous in size. And it lived in warm coastal waters, and it ate whales. Most of human civilization lives near warm coastal waters. And you know what? Most of human civilization has also hunted whales. We did it for a while. And yet, throughout all of human history,
Megalodon is overrated. I'm an ichthyotitan truther.
Oh, well, you know we're gonna get an Elasmosaurus here for the fucking Loch Ness Monster. All the tall tales that whalers have told over the years. You know, when they were whalers on the moon who carried a harpoon, but there weren't no whales, so they tell tall tales and sing their whaling tune when they were doing that shit. Not once in all of recorded human history has there ever been a report from a whaling ship that's just like, hey, we saw a really big fucking shark that was eating our whales. And I know this is true because if there was even one fucking report of that, the Megalodon truthers would latch on to that like there's no fucking tomorrow. The fact that they haven't done that means that it couldn't possibly exist. Yeah, it just evolved to stay super deep underwater. Don't you know that only so little of the ocean has been explored? Yeah, but the parts of the ocean that have been fucking explored are the parts that Megalodon would live in. Like, what would Megalodon be eating if it lived in the super deep oceans? Never mind the fact that, like, sharks in particular are actually kind of bad at living in, like, you know, the super deep, unexplored parts of the ocean. Like, sharks can't live all that deep, comparatively speaking, right? Like, yeah, reported at depths of 12,000 feet. And this is a dogfish, so this is gonna be tiny. Yeah, that's a little guy. That's a little fucking guy. How deep do goblin sharks live? About 4,000 feet. Like, compared to something like the Marianas Trench, that's really not that deep. Like, definitely deep water animals. You're not gonna, like, run into a goblin shark. For the most part. But this isn't, like, so deep that it's basically inaccessible, right? That's a dead whale. Or rather, it's a CGI render of a dead whale.
Have finally been spotted on camera again for the first time in 110 years. And it's now been confirmed that the species is still alive in Western Australia. Their existence was rediscovered 4 years ago.
The megamouth was discovered fairly recently and is considered deep sea, but that thing is also a filter feeder and not an apex predator IIRC.
Yes, we've also, like, you know, discovered it. It's like, hey, as soon as we have technology that allows us to explore more of the deep sea, turns out it's really easy to find the big-ass fucking shark that lives down there. Crazy, right? But the Megalodon is too good at hiding, except for when it isn't and leaves behind all this super obvious evidence. Except when that evidence doesn't count, but you're just in denial. It's often are between 50 and 249 mature individuals. Damn! Poor little dudes.
What beautiful birds, huh?
What beautiful birds.
The Drysocellus australis are walking branches and lived on Lord Howe Island until 1920. The species was thought to have disappeared for good in 1920, but they were rediscovered in 2001.
You know what? I'll give them credit for including a species of insect. Because, like, not a lot of people give a shit when a type of insect goes extinct, right? Not a lot of people give a shit about that when it's, like, an insect or a clam or whatever shit. People aren't going to care about that sort of thing as much as they would, like, some kind of, like, really any kind of mammal, I want to say. Hell, I think the fact that, like, the Death Valley pupfish has gotten as much fucking, like, spotlight as it has is frankly remarkable, because it's just a little fish. And even then, a lot of the spotlight it's gotten has been people saying, like, hey, just kill them already and get it over with. I guess you kind of get that with pandas these days, but even then, I feel like you get more people batting for pandas than against them.
Where have they been all these years?
I don't know.
The coelacanth is another fish that's returned from extinction.
Ooh. It's over the droughts and sea. It's more like just taxpayer money going to the fish. Like, you know, making sure that the site stays protected and the fish stay alive and all that shit. All that kind of stuff. Like, my taxpayer money's going to fish. My taxpayer money should be going to another $5 million to Israel. Also, yeah, it's pronounced coelacanth. A lot of people have trouble with the C-O-E being like a C. And I learned that as a child from Coelophysis. Good old Walking with Dinosaurs.
The fish was thought to have disappeared 65 million years ago, but it surprisingly returned in the 1930s. It's safe to say that this find is one of the most important zoological rediscoveries in the 20th century. People walking down the street were surprised.
No. You had me with the coelacanth. You had me with it. You fucking had me with, like, that was fine. That was fucking fine. And now you... Smilodon? Who is saying this is still alive? Who is saying this? I want to know one fucking person who's been saying... Where are the Smilodon truthers? I know that the Megalodon truthers are out there. Hell, I could even believe that some people think the Mosasaurus is out there because of, like, legends of sea serpents. Who the fuck is out here saying that Smilodon is still alive?
Is to see that the Smilodon still existed.
I'm sorry, the Smilodon.
Scientists managed to map the animal's DNA, which helped reveal that it was a top predator of the Ice Age.
What? Hold the... What is he actually saying?
People walking down the street were surprised to see that the Smilodon still existed. Unfortunately, they soon noticed that this was just a publicity stunt. But thanks to recent research, scientists managed to map the animal's DNA, which helped reveal that it was a top predator of the Ice Age.
The animal that's a publicity stunt? You just ran out. You just ran out of fucking species. You ran out of extinct animals, and you had to pick something. That was the beach episode. Nothing happened, but ooh, wasn't it? You got to see all the ladies and their boobies.
The first Neptune cup sponge was discovered in 1822.
Sure, a sponge.
More than
Again, something that people wouldn't really care about. Sure, I will give that to him. Like, you say that some kind of sea sponge goes extinct, most people are not gonna give a shit. Most people don't fucking care. Species was thought to be extinct due to over-harvesting, but live specimens were discovered in 2011 off the coast of Singapore. Oh god, he is gonna say Quetzalcoatl is still alive because of the fucking Thunderbird, isn't he?
This is certainly not how we want to rediscover species thought to be extinct, but the Laotian rat was found at a food market in 2005.
Laotian. I'm pretty sure it's Laotian, because it's from Laos. Okay, Laotian rock rat. Least concern. The classification of the Laotian rock rat was disputed by Mary Dawson and co-authors, as they suggested the rat belonged to the ancient fossil family Diatomidae, which was thought to have been extinct for 11 million years. Okay. Kind of fish? This is the most kind of sort of shit I've ever seen. It was just kind of discovered like any other species would be, or like described rather like any other species would be relatively recently. And then another scientist came along and said, this is probably part of like an ancient lineage of rats that's been extinct for a while.
The baiji is one of the most famous animals.
Oh, don't give me hope. Don't give me fucking hope, you piece of fucking garbage. Oh, don't you dare give me hope, you son of a bitch. Where are my baiji truthers at? So for people who don't know, the baiji is also known as the Chinese river dolphin. And it's been declared functionally extinct since around, I want to say, 2006. So almost 20 years now. It hasn't been sighted since, I want to say, like the early 2000s. The Yangtze River, where this guy used to be found, is just a fucking death trap for endangered species. There's the I believe the Yangtze paddlefish, that's also critically endangered, maybe extinct. There's like a Yangtze softshell turtle, also critically endangered. I think there's like 2 left. I really don't think that I really don't think there's a chance for the baiji. I'll give like maybe a 1% chance that the Tasmanian tiger is out there in Papua New Guinea somewhere. You leave enough trail cams, maybe you'll find one. Baiji's gone, man. Even if there's like some left, there's not going to be enough to bring the population back. They're just gone.
Due to human activities. In 1990, there were only 13 left, and it was thought that they were all extinct shortly after. In 2006, however, researchers found them again and took this iconic photo.
No, they didn't. What do you mean this iconic photo? That was like the last known captive baiji. You're just wrong. That's bullshit. You're wrong. Fuck you. You're wrong. 2006 is when, like, the final survey was done that declared them functionally extinct. You're just fucking wrong. He ropes me in. He ropes me the fuck in by actually, like, mentioning shit like sea sponges and insects that most people wouldn't care about, and then he's just straight up wrong about, like, about the fucking Chinese river dolphin. Fuck you.
According to this video, woolly mammoths still live in Siberia. However, we don't know if this is edited video footage or if the woolly mammoth still exists. Immediately, people began to discuss, many of whom believe this could be a real woolly mammoth.
Yes, it's edited. I don't have to tell you that. Are they trying to bring back the mammoth with woolly mice? Sort of. What I have seen in regards to that is that they're basically editing the mouse genome to have the woolly condition. Basically, what they're trying to do is sort of Chickensaurus a woolly mammoth rather than using mammoth DNA in order to clone a mammoth, right? What they're going to try to do basically is take an elephant embryo and put the woolly condition onto that elephant embryo so that you basically have what superficially looks like a woolly mammoth. It wouldn't actually be a woolly mammoth, which I think is honestly just a waste of fucking time. That being said, the woolly mice are very, very cute. They're fucking adorable, and I assume that they will be very popular designer pets, kind of like glowfish very soon. Yeah, it wouldn't be the same animal, it's just a waste of fucking time.
This is the last recording ever from 1944.
Ah, the ivory-billed woodpecker.
Ivory-billed. It's the largest woodpecker in North America, and it's thought to be officially extinct.
What the fuck? He didn't even say how this one was still alive. Bro, there have been sightings of ivory-billed woodpeckers that have been reported for so many fucking years now. A lot of them are almost certainly cases of mistaken identity, because ivory-billed woodpeckers look a lot like other species of woodpeckers that look nearly fucking identical. But this is like the holy fucking grail for, like, North American birds that are that people really still want to be around. Yeah, you could have at least used some of the almost certainly mistaken sightings, but you said nothing. It's just like, yep, this was around. Is it still? I don't know.
This is the last photo of the Bramble Cay mosaic tail rat, and it was taken in 2016. Unfortunately, you won't find this animal anywhere in the world anymore. Their extinction was caused by climate change, and as of 2016, they're no longer living anywhere. It's certain by now that human actions have caused the disappearances of many different animals.
Hold the fuck up. Bramble Cay? You're not even doing things that are alive. Yeah, this is recently extinct. Not cited or anything. Oh, mosaic. That's what he was trying. I thought he was trying to say Mozambique. But this seems to have been an Australian species around the Great Barrier Reef. But like, why say it's still alive then? That's so weird.
This is a very sad story, but according to the latest global assessment of endangered species, there will no longer be black rhinos left by 2022. In 19...
Okay, I'll give you guys... How do I... This video was made a year ago. We're from the future. The magnificent and far-off year of 2002! Really? So, I don't know anything about, like, a western black rhino subspecies. I know that there is the northern and southern white rhino. Now, the northern white rhino, that is basically doomed, which is very sad to say. There are 2 specimens left, and they are both female. There's lots of DNA samples of pretty much all of the like northern white rhinos that anyone can get their fucking hands on. A lot of that is stored in what are called frozen zoos. One of which is at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, which is like I think the biggest frozen zoo in the world. It's just like basically a bunch of DNA material, including but not limited to sperm. Of the rhinos currently living in Africa, I know that the black rhino is more endangered than the southern white rhino. The southern white rhino is actually doing decently well. I think the southern white rhino and the Indian rhino, the greater one-horned rhinoceros, are the two rhinos that are doing the best, basically. Comparatively speaking, to all the other rhinos, which are doing horribly. Yeah, by rhino standards. Black rhinos critically endangered, Javan rhinos critically endangered, Sumatran critically endangered. Oh god, it makes me so fucking sad. So you're saying that the western black rhino is real, and it was declared extinct in 2011, so I'm looking forward to seeing what evidence he provides that this is still alive, even though the last two didn't have any at all.
In 1970, there were still about 20,000 of them. But in 1989, there were only 400 of them left.
Thanks,
and
China.
In 2011, only 2. Do you believe that humans are the reason for
2011, only 2. Is he? I think he's talking about the white rhinos. He's got the AI's gotten confused. Because I'm pretty sure the last male northern white rhino, who was like the third to last, he died in like 2011. Yeah, Sudan. He was the last male. He died in 2018. Okay. But yeah, I don't know if that's accurate at all.
for their extinction?
Wait, what?
But in 1989, there were only 400 of them left, and in 2011, only 2. Do you believe that humans are the reason for their extinction?
Yeah, no fucking shit. Humans are the reason for their What are you, retarded? What are you, fucking stupid? Do you think that China murdering all of the rhinos and taking their horns to grind up into powder to make their dicks hard was responsible for the extinction of the western black rhinoceros? No fucking shit, that was the reason. What are you, stupid? What do you got, fucking brain problems, dog? I want to punch you in the fucking mouth. AI doesn't see poachers as humans. Okay, that's based then. That's based.
The last photograph of the Caribbean monk seal was taken in 1952 in the Caribbean Sea at Saranilla Bank, south of Jamaica.
Pretty sure this one's just straight up extinct. I don't think this one was rediscovered. There is still the Hawaiian monk seal, which is still alive. It's hanging on. I believe that one's also quite endangered. But the Caribbean monk seal, I'm pretty sure that one's like gone.
No one has seen these animals since. The main reason why the population of these seals has disappeared is because people were hunting them too much in the wild.
Again, he just doesn't say. He just doesn't say that it's fucking still alive. I don't get it. Like, why even bother? You just ran out of species that are actually still alive.
This new species of small frogs.
Oh. Okay, first of all, it's not a new species, really. This one makes me so fucking sad every time I hear about it. Basically, golden toads used to be just everywhere. They used to congregate in these giant swarms whenever they like mating season would come around. And it was just toads as far as the eye could fucking see. And like the researchers kept coming back year after year. And it's just like the population of toads kept dwindling until there was only like they only found like one, and they've been gone ever since. And no one really knew what happened to them. I'm pretty sure they were like one of the first big victims of the fungus that's taken over a lot of amphibian species recently. So they're kind of like the poster child for that. It's a real shame because like they're beautiful fucking toads, absolutely gorgeous toads, and they're just gone, like fucking that, just gone.
It's assumed that the golden toad is unfortunately extinct forever.
And again, he just doesn't fucking say. He doesn't fucking say that these are still alive. You gave me hope for the golden toad, you fuckstick.
The kawawo bird was the last member of
Oh. Fuck you. Listen, fuckface. If there was one still alive, he would have found her, alright? Go fuck yourself. You fuck off. Keep his name out of your goddamn mouth. How dare you? How fucking dare you? Yeah, like everyone in chat knows this one. I don't even have to explain this one. Everyone knows this one. I don't even have to explain it, man.
Wau family and used to live in Hawaii. The last time anyone saw this bird was in 1985, and it was last heard 2 years later in 1987. There's a number of reasons why it became extinct, including the destruction by humans of its habitat.
Okay, really, a big part of that is just because, like, cats and rats being introduced to Hawaii is a really bad thing. Like, for native bird populations, like, Hawaii has gotten so incredibly protective of their native bird populations. I think, like, only New Zealand gives them a run for their money. The death of the Kauai is just, like, it's just one fucking example of why they're so protective. You cannot fuck with birds in Hawaii. They will come down on your ass so hard. And this is a really big part of why. I don't know how strict Hawaii is on feral cats. I can assume it's very. Like, feral cats killing native birds is it's a big deal everywhere. But, like, on a small island like Hawaii, or like a small island chain like Hawaii, it's gonna be an even worse problem. Bird populations on islands are so vulnerable to invasive species. Surprised I didn't go full Alberta on rats. New Zealand is in the process of doing that. They're actually making good progress in certain areas. They have totally extirpated rats from certain areas of New Zealand, so they're working on it. Hawaii, though, I think still has a ways to go. Probably because, like, New Zealand really gives a fuck about these sorts of things. Like, I want to say I think it was a Tom Scott video on this, actually, where one of the comments was just like, someone was asking the Prime Minister of New Zealand about this, like, hey, don't you know it'll cost this much to get all these rats out of here? And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'm planning on spending way more than that if that's what it takes. Which is like, yeah, based, fuck yeah.
Another reason was because they were prey for various predators.
Yeah, like cats, say cats.
The last video of the Chinese
there it
powderfish
is.
was made not too long ago in 2022. This is also the year when they officially just became extinct. No wonder they ended up like this, because you can see very clearly in this short video that humans were hunting them.
Last one is just like, gotta eat it, gotta grind it up into powder, make our dicks hard. And again, like, it's not still alive. He's completely forgotten about that. It's gone. It's gone. It's just a list of recently extinct animals now.
You may be confusing the quagga
There's
with
the
the
quagga.
zebra, but they are two different species. It's hard.
Kinda. They're two different subspecies, but honestly, species and subspecies basically means fucking nothing at this point. This list also means nothing at this point. This is just recently extinct animals.
The reason for their extinction? Quaggas could not be tamed, so people hunted them.
Okay, zebras can't be tamed either, dumbass. And yes, I am saying that the hit movie Racing Stripes was not a documentary. You can't tame zebras.
The Mexican grizzly bear belonged to the brown bear family, but unfortunately, we'll never see him again. Mexico's largest mammal disappeared forever in 1964, and this is the last photo taken of the bear. The photo's quite sad because the animal is tied to a car.
It's also dead, jackass! This photo is quite sad because it's tied to a car. Like poor Elliot from the hit movie Open Season. I'm hitting you with the mid-2000s children's movies now.
George was the very last Archaetinella apex fulva tree snail.
Oh.
Snails like George used to live on trees in Hawaii. In 2019, however, they are completely extinct there. The photo you see here was taken in 2019, and this was the last photo ever taken of the species of tree snail.
Rip George.
There's a number of different species still living in Africa, but the bluebell hartebeest...
There's a number of species living in Africa. Couldn't have said it better myself, buddy. A quagga project, but that involves selectively breeding virtual zebras. Yeah, I'm aware of that. That is kind of the same thing as like what they're doing with the woolly mammoth thing. It's kind of a quagga. Like if you looked at it, you'd probably say like, yeah, that's pretty quagga-ish. Like here, let's look up the Quagga Project, shall we? Like yeah, they're getting there. They're getting there. Like that's pretty quagga-ish. There we go. Like yeah, that's pretty quagga-ish, right? I don't know what the picture quality is so low, but like you know, decently quagga-ish. It looks like a quagga. It's not really a quagga, but close enough. It's close enough that it keeps people happy. Like, if I looked at that, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? That's about what a quagga should look like. More or less. Ship of Theseus. The animated movie with the lion and the lion's son going to an island where there is a cult of wildebeest which worship a koala and force themselves to eat meat. Yes, The Wild. Disney's answer to Madagascar. That was a Disney movie. You'll never see Disney acknowledge that. I think that, like, preserving currently existing populations of endangered species is way more important than bringing back extinct species, unless those extinct species were like super fucking vital and we like really need them right the fuck now. Like if I don't know, cloning technology can be used to like bump up the populations of existing endangered species, I say use that before you go making fucking like extinct species. Problem with cloning would be the lack of genetic diversity. I agree with that, but like consider the fact that like the California condor population was not that big when like the San Diego Zoo and the LA Zoo took in all the condors and just like started breeding them like wildfire, or as much as they could, right? Like you would still have the same genetic pool, but you're breeding them, like, if you have clones, you're breeding them, like, twice as fast. That makes a difference. So, like, I would say that there's still value in cloning endangered species, like, more so than extinct species. Especially because with extinct species, you still run into the same genetic bottlenecking problems. Like, arguably to a worse degree.
The Barbary lion, also known as the
Oh,
Amazon,
don't show the
is
picture.
largest
It's gonna make
lion
me
that ever lived
sad.
in Egypt, Libya, and Morocco. The last photo of a Barbary lion was taken in 1960 in the zoo. However, the last photo of a wild Barbary lion was taken in Morocco in 1942. This one was taken in 2010, which is the year the duck was returned from critically endangered on the list of extinct animals. The bird's name comes from Lake Alotra, from critically endangered on the list. This one was taken in 2010, which is the year the duck was returned from critically endangered on the list of extinct animals.
So did this one actually come back?
The passenger pigeon used to be one of the best-known animals in the United States. However, this species became extinct once again at the hands of humans. The last time a wild passenger pigeon was seen was in the year 1900. Martha, the last of this species, died in 1914 at the Cincinnati Zoo, where she lived completely alone for 4 years.
Yeah, it's just extinct
the
animals.
The Oriental cougar was a distinct population of cougars, which once lived from Quebec. In 2008, it had been officially declared that the Oriental cougar was extinct, and unfortunately, the species was also removed from the endangered species list.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when they're extinct.
The Syrian wild ass, also known as the Achdari, is an extinct
subspecies
of the onager, native to the Arabian Peninsula.
Not funny.
Humans hunted the Syrian wild asses extensively.
Wild asses deserve our protection. We must protect the asses. We must protect the asses and the cougars. We have to protect them all.
There have been no confirmed sightings of the Havan tiger since the 1980s. Consequently, scientists declared the species extinct. However, a large cat that looked much like the Havan tiger was spotted in West Java in 2017. That could mean the tiger's back, but many scientists think that it was a leopard seen here.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it looks like a leopard. Yeah, he's saying Havan, but then he's like, oh, it's spotted on Java. So it's like, oh, you mean Javan? Yeah, I think that's a leopard. I mean, hey, it's a member of the genus Panthera. It does look like it has more of a spot pattern, and the head seems too small. I'm pretty sure that's a leopard.
In 2016, there were only 3 northern white
Okay, the
rhinos.
northern white rhino is still alive. Like that's not I'm sorry. That's not a species we've ever thought was extinct. It's a species that we know will be extinct very soon because there's 2 fucking left and they're both female.
The Laysan rail was a bird which couldn't fly, and lived on the northwestern Hawaiian island of Laysan. This bird became extinct mainly because too many domestic rabbits appeared on the small island, eating the island bare. Another reason was the Japanese attack on Hawaii at the beginning of World War II. The cast
Japanese attack on Hawaii. Wasn't that like just restricted to Pearl Harbor? That's on Oahu, right? Hold up. Okay, is this the northwest island of Laysan? Okay, that should have nothing to do with. Wait, it did become extinct in World War II? What the friggity fuck? Rats being introduced to the area in 1944. That might be due to World War II because of like using their environment as like military bases and accidentally introducing rats. I can maybe see where that's coming from. The way he made it sound is just like, oh, like when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, they bombed all the fucking birds too. That's how he made that sound, which is inaccurate.
attack on Hawaii at the beginning of World War II.
Also, what the fuck do you mean the beginning of World War II? Listen, I'm not a historian, right? I want to say that was towards the tail end of World War II. That was what started the end of World War II. Were you stupid?
The Caspian tiger was one of the largest cat
Another
species
tiger
which ever
subspecies.
lived on Earth. In 1958, the tiger was last officially spotted near Russia's border with
No, actually, it was a striped animal, not spotted. You're thinking of leopards, but you know, same genus.
the last Pinta Island tortoise, Lonesome George, died in 2012. And it's very sad that the largest tortoise in the Galapagos Islands is no more.
Fucking hell. You had the option there. There are, I am like 90% sure I've heard that there are Pinta Island tortoise hybrids still out there. Because, like, you know, when the first settlers, or, you know, the exploiters really, came to the Galapagos Islands, they just kind of took the tortoises around willy-nilly and just, like, dropped them off where the fuck ever. So, there are still technically Pinta Island tortoises, they're just hybrids. You had the opportunity to say that, yes, these are still alive. You fucker. Same case with Barbary lions? Fuck! I forgot about that. That is true. You're right.
The smooth handfish was recently declared extinct in 2020, becoming only the first animal of its species to be declared extinct in modern times.
The first animal of its species to be declared extinct in modern times. That is a meaningless statement. If it is of its species, then it can only be itself, you fucking moron. Do you mean its genus? Do you mean its family? Do you mean literally anything else besides species? Because obviously, if this species went extinct, then it is the first species of its kind to go extinct, you fucking moron. Christ alive.
This fish looked a bit strange and spiny, and lived very deep on the bottom of the ocean. Pyrenean ibex is a wild goat.
Ibex. I'm pretty sure it's ibex, but I've never actually heard anyone else say it. Now, if I'm thinking of the right one, this is an interesting one, because this is the only case of de-extinction that humans have actually committed to. So this species went extinct, and then they cloned it, and it was successfully birthed, but it died a few minutes later of respiratory problems. But, like, the fact that it was actually born means that this is probably one of the best possible candidates for de-extinction. You just have to actually, like, you know, make sure it doesn't die of respiratory problems 5 minutes later.
In the 1960s, the Pyrenean ibex population declined far too much, and in 1973, this species was declared protected. Nevertheless, this animal was
You're running out of time.
Endangered as early as 1996. Therefore, the Spanish government tried to breed them, but it failed, and thus this ibex species didn't survive.
Oh my god, you didn't mention literally the most interesting thing about this entire fucking species. You wasted too much fucking time. They tried to breed them. They fucking cloned them. The only case of man-made de-extinction, like, motherfucker, you had the easiest layup. The easiest fucking layup in the universe. I'm mad.
What we see here is the last and only known video footage of the heath hen. It was made 7 years before the bird.
I loved Heath Hen in The Dark Knight.
The Tasmanian tiger was a marsupial male.
You already said the Tasmanian tiger! You already said it! It was earlier on the list! You stupid... He's gonna say Megalodon again. He is.
It's thought that the last known species died at the Hobart Zoo in Australia in 1930.
What do you mean last known species? That's not what species means. It's a fucking individual animal. You fucking imbecile.
The dodo is an extinct flightless.
Who is saying that the dodo is still alive? Who? Who are the dodo truthers? Who? I ask of you. Who?
64 years later, the dodo would be completely extinct, but at that time, no one seemed to care. However, scientists are convinced that they're still alive.
Who?
2014, a French documentary.
The dodo still lives. I saw it in Looney Tunes.
I believe it. I think 60% of the list has been where he's not said that the animal is still around. Yeah, but he does that for the fucking dodo bird. An animal that is synonymous with being extinct.
However, some people think that this video is fake.
Some people think. Well, you know who doesn't think that? These scientists I made up in my head.
Lonesome George was a...
You already said the Pinta Island tortoise! You already said that! He's straight... We were saying he ran out of fucking species at the beginning of this video as a joke. He literally has at this point. You know who else has dementia?
2017, researchers found hybrid offsprings of the turtle on another island nearby.
He mentioned
After
it!
genetic research was done, scientists suggested that George's species might still be alive.
What? Why didn't you say that earlier? You had... Whatever. He took the second chance. He took the second chance. Fuck it. I'll give him that one.
The Gigantopithecus is an extinct primate species.
He's gonna say Bigfoot.
Of great apes.
Bigfoot.
This species would have been extinct about 9 million to 100,000
Bigfoot.
years ago. This human monkey could reach a length of 3 meters with a weight of 300 kilograms. There's been stories going around for years that the Gigantopithecus is still alive, and it's thought to be Bigfoot. Other people think that Bigfoot descends from the Gigantopithecus. Both can walk upright, just like a human, and although several observations have been reported...
By the way, it's a fucking jaw! It is a jaw and some teeth. Who's to say if this thing was walking upright? That's a hominid trait, you fuck. Was this a giant gibbon? You fucker? Was this like those fucking Siamangs that go like whoop? Oh, the Patterson footage.
Come across Bigfoot in a forest somewhere in Bluff Creek, California. The video has been thoroughly researched by many people, including experts, and the majority agree.
It's been researched by many people, including experts. Why even mention the people who aren't experts, you fuck? Bigfoot is in New Guinea. I believe it. I think Bigfoot is blurry. It's not the photographer's fault. Bigfoot is blurry. And that is extra scary to me. Because there's a large, out-of-focus monster roaming around the countryside. Everybody run, he's all fuzzy. I think it's a guy in a monkey suit.
The Megalodon is a shark species.
The Meg 2!
Because only 5% of the ocean has
He
been
said
discovered.
the thing. He said the thing. 5% of the ocean has been explored. Is that 5% of the ocean the part of the ocean that Megalodon would have lived in? Maybe?
There's videos going around on the internet.
Sleeper
suggesting that
shark.
Megalodon has been captured on camera. But these are most likely whale sharks or Pacific slumber sharks. In 1942, the Discovery Channel would have released a documentary in which there was a huge fin that can be seen.
Oh my god, is that photo? It's almost quaint now. Photoshop, right? Now you could just go online, type in a few fucking words, and it's just like, oh, here's a fake Megalodon picture. Remember the good old days of having to Photoshop that shit? Fucker.
Just look at this picture of a Megalodon tooth found in Peru, measuring an unbelievable 19 centimeters.
You know what else measures 19?
Mosasaurus was an enormous
fucking knew
marine
it.
reptile with a long neck, and according to scientists, would have been extinct about 66 million years ago. A complete skeleton was found, discovered in 1823 by a fossil collector named Mary Anning.
Okay, I was gonna say you better mention her name. Better mention Mary Anning, you fucker. Don't just relegate her to a fossil collector. Basically the godmother of paleontology. Go fuck yourself. And go fuck yourself for including this in the first place. Because no, the Loch Ness Monster is also not real.
Marine animals would have lived in the European seas and around the Pacific Ocean. However,
They lived fucking everywhere, by the way. Plesiosaurs were very prolific. They were not just in Europe, they were in Antarctica, they were in North America, they were, I'm pretty sure, in South America and Africa. They were everywhere. Very prolific.
the ocean has not yet been explored enough to be sure that the animal no longer exists. Over the years, several
Once again, I feel the need to stress this. These animals that we have the direct fossil evidence of would have been coastal animals. These would have been shallow coastal deposits. That's where they would have lived. That's the parts of the world where people live. You stinky, stupid. So basically, when I'm the point that I'm trying to get across as I become more and more manic is, listen, if plesiosaurs were still alive today, we'd know about it. Mostly because, unlike Megalodon, who I will at least give the uneducated who don't know all that much about, sharks, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Plesiosaurs need to breathe air. They need to come up for air and breathe it, So, considering these are coastal animals who need to come up to breathe, yeah, we'd see them.
The pterodactylus is
Okay. I will give him a point. He said the genus Pterodactylus, not Pterosauria or pterodactyl. Pterodactylus. That is indeed a genus. It is probably one of the worst of the genuses of the genre that you could have picked. First of all, the picture chosen is a pteranodon. Second of all, Pterodactylus went extinct in the Jurassic. So, that's bad.
considered the largest flying animal that ever lived.
Hold the fuck up.
The pterodactylus is considered the largest flying animal that ever lived.
I'm tired. I'm tired, and not just because I woke up at 5 a.m. today. It's the kind of tired that sleep can't fix.
Thought to have been extinct about 66 million years ago.
No, Pterodactylus went extinct in the Jurassic. Also, that's an Astarcha pterosaur, not a Pterodactylus.
In 1870, the first fossil of a pterodactylus was discovered in Germany. Scientists also discovered that the animal was warm-blooded and had fur. Furthermore,
What is your timeline of discovery here, my friend? Because pterosaurs being warm-blooded probably wouldn't come around until like the dinosaur renaissance in like the 90s, I want to say at the very least. And being covered in fur is inaccurate to say the least. If you want to be incredibly pedantic about it, they were covered in pycnofibers, which is basically just a fancy term for pterosaur feathers. Structurally speaking, they were feathers. It's really meaningless to differentiate between the two, but it wasn't fur. It was feathers. So, yeah, you're wrong.
It has a long pointed beak with a comb on its head, and the
Blinky.
wingspan of its wings was estimated to be about 10 to 11 meters long.
No, it wasn't. Oh my god, I know this video. Oh, I know this video so well. Very fake video, by the way. You would have been better off using that old fucking lost photo of a thunderbird as evidence for this. Pterodactylus was very small. He's getting this very confused with, I'm assuming, as dark pterosaurs. Probably Quetzalcoatlus or Hatzegopteryx.
This animal probably doesn't exist anymore, but it'll surprise you that there's several observations in which people claim to have spotted this animal.
Yeah,
There's also several pictures going around on the internet where we see people standing around this huge beast.
Okay, hey, there's that thunderbird picture I was talking about. So, fair enough. I mean, it's like a reconstruction of it. Going on the idea that this was a pterosaur rather than a large bird. But, hey, at least he did it. At least that was something he tried.
I have no idea if these
Oh, there it
pictures
is
are real
again.
or not, but the fact that there are several of them makes you think.
No, it doesn't make you think, you fucking retard. Lick. Okay. So the story behind this is that, basically these guys found a big old fucking bird or something. And there was a photo taken of it that has since been lost to time. And, like, it probably existed. Like, this photo probably existed. Because there's lots of different descriptions of it, basically. And so, it's a very famous photo that's just been lost. And so people have taken to reconstructing this photo based on those descriptions, and often just based on ideas that, oh, hey, this might have been like based on the Native American legend of the Thunderbird, might have been a surviving giant bird or a surviving pterosaur or something like that. I mean, the origins of that photo being taken are, I think, somewhat interesting, but I don't think it really means that the fucking pterosaur was alive. They probably just faked it for a hoax or something, and then the photo was just lost to time, and that made it a more interesting mystery.
The Triceratops belongs to the dinosaur species.
Of all the dinosaurs, Triceratops. Please be like that one image of the Triceratops in the middle of the road. Please.
Species and was a herbivore.
Hold up.
The Triceratops belongs to the dinosaur species and was.
This guy does not know what the fuck a species is. The dinosaur species. Listen, there were two species of Triceratops. There was Triceratops horridus and Triceratops prorsus. It wasn't part of the species dinosaur, you fuck.
Was a herbivore, which means it mainly ate plants and shrubs. Furthermore, it would have used its large horn to push trees. Now, you might think...
Listen, Triceratops, we have direct fossil evidence that shows Triceratops used their horns for ritualized combat. They would have fought each other with their horns. We have evidence of this. There are Triceratops frills that have gouge marks in them that are consistent with the horns of other Triceratops. They also very likely would have used them to defend themselves against predators. By predators, I mean T-Rex. It's just T-Rex. Oh, God.
If this animal had existed, we would have seen it a long time ago. The Triceratops was in fact very large, and could become 9 meters long with a weight of 13 tons. I think they no longer exist, but believe it or not, there's people who say that this animal could be still walking around in places that haven't been explored completely, such as the rainforest of Brazil, Africa, and Antarctica.
Please. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I almost fell on my fucking chair. There it is. Oh my god. Chicago be crazy. Oh, that's the fucking one, baby. Yeah, baby, that's what we've been waiting for. Also, did he actually say Antarctica? Hold the fuck up. Oh my god, there's so much to unpack here.
That haven't been explored completely, such as the rainforest of Brazil, Africa, and Antarctica.
Oh my god, wow. Wow. Okay, first of all, I'm assuming he's just saying that Antarctica is a place that hasn't been explored, not saying that there's rainforests on Antarctica. There have been rainforests on Antarctica in about 200 million years. You're a little bit off on that one. The fucking Triceratops are hiding out in South America and Antarctica like they're the fucking Nazis. Hitler just rolls down to his secret Antarctic base and finds a bunch of Triceratops hanging out there and just like, oh my god, this base is full of dreienhornen. No, little German boy, don't go into the Triceratops forest.
Came across a photo on YouTube in which an enormous Triceratops would be standing in the middle of a road. I tried to find out where it came from, and it turned out to be a big prank from some jokers who took the huge figure out of a store with prehistoric stuff and put it in the middle of the road. So there were
a prank from some jokers instead of being a real Triceratops. That would have been my first guess.
The Tasmanian tiger, also called the marsupial wolf, is an extinct species that lived in the forest and grasslands of Tasmania, Australia, and
You know who else has the match?
But what turned out to be the case is that there was one specimen left that was kept in captivity at the Hobart Zoo on the island of Tasmania.
I'm tired.
So new research is being done to see if the species is still alive. The sauropods are dinosaurs with an enormously long neck.
The caption is still Tasmanian tiger! You fuck! You're a real son of a bitch. You're a real son of a bitch, I'll have you know. And I know it's gonna talk about fucking, Mokele-mbembe, or however the fuck you pronounce it. The big sauropod supposedly in the dense jungles of the Congo in Africa. I don't believe it. I don't.
A small head, and a long tail. They are among the largest land animals that have ever lived, with lengths up to 35
they were the largest land animals that have ever lived. Don't mince your fucking words there.
meters and a weight of 80 tons. Now, these animals are thought to have been extinct 66 million years ago, but there's a century-long legend that one is still living around the Congo Basin, the second largest rainforest in Africa. The locals gave it the name Mokele-mbembe. The locals, called pygmies, claim that it's about 10 meters long and would travel by water. In 1909, a man named Carl Hagenbeck reported a dinosaur-like creature in the Congo. According to several eyewitnesses of the pygmy population, they would have seen the beast and even killed one in 1959. Nowadays...
Man, crazy how they didn't bring anything back. Crazy, right? Yeah. At least when they first were exploring Australia, they brought back a platypus. The people back home just thought it was fake.
There's still expeditions to find the animal, but without result. What extinct animal would you like to see in real life? Let us know in the comments.
Mercy. Mercy. It's over. Oh my fucking lord. That was awful. That was some of the sludgiest sludge we've ever had. That was like, what, 4 mentions of the fucking Tasmanian tiger? If they're extinct, how can they still be alive? It's kind of confusing. Not gonna lie. I love your videos. I want you when I'm sad. Hey! It sure is great to be back with another top 10 list for you guys. I want you. What? Wow, that good. Where is the Mosasaurus? The free Shavakadu. I didn't know Mosasaurus still exists. This guy's favorite letter is Z. He has to put Z in words, even when they don't exist. He's like Elon Musk with X. I have to put X in everything because X is the coolest letter. Well, this has done nothing to curb my suicidal ideation, but maybe I feel better now. God, was that the worst one we've watched so far? I think it might have been. That was just awful. Was that even 100 animals? I'll have to count, because he didn't count them. Some of these are pretty short, but I'll have to save them for next time. We need dinosaurs. We need full-on dinosaurs back. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this one's not feathered friend. 20 terrifying dinosaurs I'm glad are extinct. Hell yeah. There's so many of these. There's so much. We have so much slop to get through. Okay, some of the... Okay, we already got... Wait, did we? No, that's just the same thumbnail. Yeah, scary prehistoric creatures that could still exist. Number 1, Cthulhu. Number 2, the mosasaur that looks like a fucking crested newt. Creatures that could end the world if brought back. This is an hour! That's an hour and 17 minutes of sludge! Oh, there's so much left! There's so much garbage I have to look at!